All right. So I'm in a person of Christian Agbovichekeo, a political science level 300 student, and I'm the current president for the Civic Education Club in the school, and also I'm the deputy educational chair for the Political Science Students Association.
I see you hold a lot of portfolios.
Yes.
Nice one. Third year students.
Yes, please.
All right. So you do.
So
is it the club that is into the agribusiness, or you personally?
No, this one is me personally.
Okay.
Over the years, I've been in the village, and I'm now here in Accra, and I run Accra Winneba. So I've studied how our economy is doing, and I've tried to identify certain problems we are having, which is causing more unemployment in our country. So in order to address that, I ran some few researches, and I've done analysis, and I've come out that for the youth of Ghana to do well, they have to run back to the agribusiness. That is the only way we can save ourselves and the economy.
Agribusiness.
Yes, please.
That will mean people going back to their villages, or doing it on parcels of lands they may find
good
nearby.
In fact, the idea is people going back to their villages.
Okay.
The whole thing is that people complete universities. Let's say somebody came from Apisokubi, which is in the Oti region, to Accra to finish Legon. And that person knows very well that when they go back to their village, there is no work to do. Such person will not go back.
Okay.
So it makes the population in Accra very denser, and the employers here are few. So how many of us can they employ? That becomes a challenge. But then if we go back to our society to do something different, it makes us release the
pressure on unemployment.
Yes. So that is why I focus on the agribusiness, because most of these students who comes to the cities have family lands.
Right.
Most of these students have people they can engage to get lands to farm on.
No, but the idea is, if it was farming that I wanted to do, then I perhaps didn't need to go to university. I should have started right after secondary school.
That is a wrong perception.
You think so?
Yes.
Why?
I have people I studied with in the university. What I told them is that you are doing your first degree, don't specialize. And some didn't understood what I was trying to say. We are doing political science, and I'm minoring social studies. These courses automatically teaches you about leadership and all that, and human society. But what extra will you add to yourself so that when you come out, you'll be exceptional? So there was a course, Entrepreneurship and Marketing Awareness, as a liberal course. And I told them that is what I would do. And they said no. Some did marriage and other. I didn't say it's bad. But when you are doing your first degree and you specialize, there are a lot of people who can do what you've gone there to do. Oh, every year we have people.
But you are still not answering the question.
Yeah.
A student who has come from the village to study in the university, finishing to go back to do agriculture.
Good.
He may say, all that money my parents invested in the 4 years education, I could have started a big farm with it on our farmland, family land. What would you say to people like that?
You see, what I know is that the more you educate yourself, it opens your mind about certain things. So the farm you could have been doing, ignoring formal education, you will not be able to do it when you have
after secondary school. Don't you have formal education?
You have formal education, but when you go to the university or the tertiary, you are exposed to certain things that you wouldn't have had idea about.
True, but what is happening in the world today is almost everything we are learning in the universities are freely taught on YouTube, and even giving in-depth knowledge on YouTube, even more than what is being received at the universities.
Good. So that is why.
So people can sit at home, educate themselves.
Yeah. So
and use all that funding into starting a business.
Good. That comes to my ideology. Connection. I have a new project I'm working on.
Okay.
Wanting to get people on board. We need to farm 15 acres of cassava.
Okay.
For a company located around Japan.
Okay.
Now, my university, we have a lot of students. So what do? That when I did the calculations, I need 30,000 to farm 15 acres of cassava. So that it will do well, I need 30,000. That 30,000.
You mean 30,000 Ghana cedis?
Ghana cedis. I cannot raise it alone.
Okay.
Because I'm still a student. But when we have 30 people who really want to make it in the agribusiness,
everybody brings 1,000
cedis each, we can start a business.
Exactly.
And in the next 5 years, we will have a very good farm and we'll have a very good money, which will not even, where we will not even need somebody to employ us, because we can't be working on the farm and get paid by ourselves. So so that is where the university comes in, the connection. Because there are certain ideologies, when you introduce it to somebody who don't have education, that person doesn't appreciate it. But once you engage people who equally have same ideologies with you, that is where you can make it a reality.
All right. So what produce do you think most people should be going or looking into now? What particular produce?
Yes, that is where I started with the cassava.
Okay.
As a young entrepreneur who wants to go into agribusiness, the best way or the best crop to produce as a beginner should be cassava. Because I've been in the village, I have farmed maize, I've farmed rice, I've farmed cassava and other crops. And cassava is the best.
Why?
You can never lose your capital.
Okay.
You can never lose
and
your capital.
It costs so less
to
farm cassava.
Yes. Because when you want to farm 1 acre of cassava now, you need the plot, which will be rented to you about 350, maximum 500 cedis a year.
Right.
And that year, if you are lucky to have a good breed of cassava, you can farm it twice. Now, that acre, you need about 2,000 to farm it from beginning
from the start to finish.
You need about 1,500, roughly 2,000 to do it. But now a ton of cassava, when you look at it well, an acre can be sold for at least 12,000 Ghana cedis. So within a year, you've maximum your profit.
If you do it double, you are looking at 24,000.
Yes. So assume 15 people comes together or 30 people comes together, raise 30,000 to farm 15 acres. Then if you have at least 12,000 Ghana cedis, you multiply it and you see within a year.
There is so much opportunity in farming.
Yes.
In Africa especially. And for people who have family lands. But people are complaining about capital, like you are saying, how to raise funding. It is not easy to meet friends who are willing to go on that same tangent. So you may want to start it yourself, but you don't have enough capital. What should people be doing?
Yes, so one thing I believe in is starting small.
Good.
And have a goal. You see, when you have plans, you need to draw your plan. This is what I have. This is what it can do. But in the next few years, this is where I want to be.
Right.
Once you have that target, and as a university student, you might find it difficult to get money. But to get 2,000, you give yourself a year to raise 2,000 cedis. From January to December, you are raising 2,000 cedis to farm. Now, that 2,000 cedis from January to December, somewhere March, you start your farming. The next year, let's say you are doing it, you are starting the savings from 2025 January.
Right. By the end of December 2025, you have the money.
Now, it will be dry season 2026 January, February.
Right.
So somewhere March, you should start preparing your land.
Right.
So March, April, you have your crops planted. By December, you have at least 12,000 Ghana cedis on that 2,000 you've saved. So the next year, instead of 2,000, you are going to do times 12 of
times
what
6
you start,
of it.
Time of what you've started.
Right.
So if it's 6, it means every year you can multiply it by 2. Right. Every year you can multiply it by 2. I get
right.
it. So when you give yourself 5 years to come, you don't need anyone to employ you.
So that means it's a good thing for young people to go back to where they came from.
Yes.
And start working on family lands.
Good. Because
the idea of moving to Accra looking for some form of greener pasture
is waste of
working
time.
for people earning 500 cedis a month.
Good.
It's not worth it.
Yes,
Why do you think people struggle? Young people struggle to go back to where they came from.
they don't have the idea and the plans.
Mm.
They don't have the plans, the right plans. Because I'm from Rara, as I said earlier.
Right.
When I came to Accra 2014. That time, coconut was sold at 1 cedi 50 pesos.
Right.
At Ashama, where I used to sell coconut.
You used to sell coconut.
Yes, I've sold coconut.
Nice.
Yeah. So from that year, 2014, we are in 2024. Coconut, the cheapest you can get
5
in
cedis.
Accra.
It's 6 cedis. Yeah.
The cheapest is 6 cedis.
Right.
That means that industry is doing well.
That's right.
So if you are farming coconut and they buy at least 3 cedis from you, you have money.
Right.
Because a plant of coconut can give you 40 coconuts every month, because you harvest a tree every month. So if that's 40, an acre takes 40 plants, 80 plants. So if an acre takes 80 plants, a plant is sold at 30 cedis. If you need more, they can reduce it for you. So
and one plant gives you 40 coconut fruits.
Yes, every
month.
Maximum every 2 months. So when you multiply it by the 80, you are getting a lot of money in there. So you don't need to. When you are from the village, you are at advantage, because that place, they know you. You know people you can consult, where you don't get a land that later you have issue with, like it happening in the cities. And the cost of living
is very low.
It's very low. So once you are able to gather small resources, you go back and start something new. In return,
I mean, this is such a good piece of information you are sharing with people at your age.
Yeah.
If only they will listen, because when everybody is thinking you come to Accra, you hustle, you can buy a phone, you can buy some nice clothing and shoes, get your small space to live, go back and tell your people in the village that you are doing well. Meanwhile, you are not actually doing well. You are faking it all the way.
Yeah.
When you can actually be in the village, have acres of land. People also say the youth or young people don't want to go back because of the fear of living in the village and farming on lands. And when you begin to prosper, people want to juju you, people want to kill you, and all of that. Is it a real thing?
That is where the education comes in. I am an Ewe by tribe.
Okay.
And people in Ghana believe that.
Everybody believes
Yes.
it. That there is something there.
I'm an Ewe. But there is something. That is why you are also something on the planet. So you see, when we let these perceptions takes over,
you
there
will
is
not
no
do
way
anything.
we'll do well.
Right.
There are countries. America was a farmland. America was a farmland where they came here to pick slaves to go and farm in America.
Right.
The produce, they take it to Britain. But today, America, look at where it has gotten to. So every economy that is doing well started with agriculture.
So people shouldn't be afraid.
People shouldn't be afraid. You see, the issue is that what you think of will happen. That is why we are humans. One thing I believe in is that when I believe in something, how I perceived it is what attracts it to me.
Right.
So when I believe I can make it, I can make it. When I believe when I make it, a witch will come after me. A witch will come after me.
Even if you are in Accra.
Good. No matter where, it's a spiritual something. Why do pastors pray for people? Pastor Chris is not in Ghana.
No, I have friends. I have an old-time friend who is also away. When he's going back to his village, he tells me, "No, I can't dress like this." He dressed in a different way when he's going back.
Okay, so that they don't
assume that he's made money.
You see, it's how you talk. It's what you tell people.
Right.
If you have money, spirituality, if you have money,
they can see from wherever you are.
So it doesn't matter. you are there claiming there are spirits who, if you go there, does it mean those spirits cannot travel?
They are moving.
And people are complaining that they are crowd and there is a spirit in the village that is hunting them. It means that spirits can
move all the way.
Where is God?
He's everywhere.
Good. So spirits are everywhere. But you as a person, you need to educate yourself that, come on, these spirits are there. But we are different species. And when you look at from Quran and Bible, we are the most powerful creatures aside God.
We are able to create a lot of things.
That's it. We command a lot of things. That's why we can domesticate animals. They are also on their own. They should be a family like we also have We are.
We can grow crops.
Yes.
You know, we can domesticate animals. We can dominate the sea and all of that.
That's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
So what spirits are you afraid of? As human beings,
I hope you are listening.
You have to be open-minded, because that thing you are afraid of is what is preventing you from your success.
Right.
Because there are people who came from the villages and they are doing well. Other people comes from that same village, they are not doing well. That should tell you it's the mindset. It's the mindset. Go back to the village and you do well.
Nice one.
Yes.
So cassava will be the first thing you should cultivate if you are beginning.
Yes.
What other produce would you recommend?
Yes. So especially when you would want to do animal husbandry.
I see.
You still have to start with crop production.
Right.
As a beginner, because maize can be failed, because next year there will be a lot of issue concerning food.
Right, because of the drought coming.
Yes, the rain failed farmers
this year.
So next year food will be expensive. Good. So maize is one of the crops that depends much on rainwaters. Cassava can last in the soil without rain
for months.
So when you farm cassava and even it meets the dry season, the stems can be there. And once it rains 1, 2, 3, it
grows back again
and grows back. So even during the driest seasons, cassava will just remove, all the leaves will fall, but it's alive. Once it rains, it comes back, and that's why I said you cannot lose your profit. In a sense that when you are a starter, you don't have the stems to start it, isn't it? But once you buy the stems, you will never buy stems again.
That is the same thing you are going to be
using.
Use
it. So you see, there you don't need planting materials.
So apart from cassava, I asked.
Another crop.
Yes, another crop.
Yes, there are other crops like onion. Onion.
Ghana imports so much from Niger
Yes.
and Burkina Faso, all over the place.
That's why onion farm is also doing well these days, because of the issues along
our neighboring countries.
Yes. So for us to do well in there, you don't need big land to start onion farming. One plot of land you can start, and the money in there is a lot. So every year you can expand your production, provided you have a plan to do well in that business, so that you don't. If you one thing about farming, you don't need to have a divided mind.
Okay.
You don't need to have a divided mind. It needs attention. Not that you are going to spend the whole day in the farm, but you need to always look at how you can do it better and make good yield.
Okay.
So onion is also doing well in the market. And maize, selling maize is easier, but the process, you need to have more knowledge on when to plant and when to harvest.
Right.
So maize, once you are into cassava, you get to know how the raining patterns are in the country, the failures and the challenges. And since you are not losing your capital, it guides you to know how to start with the maize. So when you start that, you can move on to the maize and all that. But that is when you are doing a short-term farming.
Right.
But there are long-term farming, like the cash crops. So that is where I will advise people to choose coconut over any other crop.
So you've mentioned like 4 major crops. You've mentioned cassava, coconut, onion, and maize. Nice one.
Yes.
Nice one. Nice one.
Yes.
And you wouldn't need so much to start on a small scale.
No.
Not so much.
No, not
2,000 you can start with cassava. How much do you think you can start with onion today?
Onion
on an acre of land.
On an acre of land, you need about that place is quite expensive. So you need at least about 10,000.
About 10,000 cedis
for 1 acre.
For 1 acre. Okay. Yes. And maize for 1 acre?
Maize for 1 acre is nothing more than cassava.
Yes, so it should be cheap.
It's also cheap. So 2,000, 2,500 you should be able to
but
get.
Coconut, I know it may go higher a little bit.
Coconut is.
What is the price of 1 coconut seedling?
Seedling, that's why people have it 30 cedis.
30 cedis.
Yes. So with the coconut, you see why I started with the cassava. If you want to have a long-term plan for your farm and you want to do well in the industry, coconut should be your target.
Right.
And then palm fruit.
Right.
But start with cassava.
Whilst the coconut is coming.
Good. So you don't have the money to buy the land.
Right.
It's expensive. So just rent 400 cedis a year, rent one plot. You farm it, you have at least 10,000 is ready.
Right.
It means you can farm 2 acres
Right.
on rent.
Right.
When you do that 5 years, you can't buy 2 acres
Of
for
land.
yourself.
Right.
Then you plant the cassava and the coconut. Once you harvest cassava, the coconut is ready. So by 4-5 years, the coconut will start fruiting. Then you don't farm cassava there.
My
again.
brother, there is no way I would advise you to stay in Accra when you graduate. I'm talking to you personally.
Me personally,
There is no way I would advise you to stay in Winneba and be looking for some government. You have so much knowledge
Yeah.
and potential to be the biggest producer of some produce in Ghana. You have to take advantage of it. You
Yes.
cannot know all this and be comfortable living in Accra and be wearing suits.
it's myself.
Seriously, you have the knowledge, you have the know-how, and you know where to find the lands because
Yes.
family own lands.
Yes.
So what stops you, bro, after graduating?
Yes. So currently, that's why you see people wait to graduate before they take
They start,
decisions.
right.
And that is the dangerous thing
Mm.
you can do, because once you graduate,
There are a lot of confusions in your head.
family think he has complete,
Yeah.
she has complete.
You need to get a job,
and all
da da
that.
da.
So in order not to have these challenges, that is why I'm advising young people to start something whilst they are in school.
Okay.
I started this. I've tried so many businesses. I've done a lot. Construction fields, I've been there.
Okay.
Now, the whole thing is that when I complete school, I'm planning this year alone. Within these 3 months, I've traveled 4 regions
Okay.
of this. I've been to the Volta region, Oti region. I went back to the Central region,
Mm.
and I have to go to another region just to find where farming is doing well,
Mm.
so that I gather resources, encourage friends to come together, so that we can have a farm where even if we graduate and we don't have job, we'll be doing that whilst we look for a job. Some people might not want to be farmers.
Mm.
Good, but you can start from there. You can start with us. Once you get a job, you go there. And one beautiful thing about my project is that you don't necessarily have to be in the farm.
Okay.
What we are doing is that I am going around looking for a suitable place. Currently, I found a land at Japan
Okay.
where we can get there are several acres there, and the people there, they farm cassava,
Okay.
and there is a processing factory there.
A cassava processing plant.
Yes.
Nice.
So as an entrepreneur, if you want to go into cassava
You
farming,
should visit these places.
I will suggest that you visit these places to do enquiries, because myself, I've done the follow-up. Joje area,
Right.
Adaklu
Right.
area. You should be able to visit these areas so that you go and do more enquiries, so that you know what to do. There is a processing firm there.
Mm.
That place, once you farm the cassava, it is bought.
Wow.
I didn't
There
know.
is ready market waiting for your produce.
Yes, I didn't know. I was
So they turn it into what? Gary?
Gary powder,
Starch.
so beverages and all that. So
Nice.
even I didn't know. It was when I was looking for a place and somebody told me I should go to Japan. So I went on Gigi. I got a contact. I asked the person. The person told me I should come to Japan. I went there. I met the person. There is vast land. There are people from outside the country. Somebody who is able to travel to UK and all that.
And they are farming in those places.
They have farms there.
for the processing.
Yes.
Oh,
Others are into other products like maize and all.
right.
So if you are here and you are not farming, somebody in UK is farming, and you are here and you are not farming,
Man,
you are
I like
lagging
this
behind.
conversation. I
You
like
are
this
lagging behind.
conversation.
I will advise young people to go back to the agribusiness. Don't start big. If you want it to look big, find people who are equally interested, so that you come together and do something big. If you want to do it with me too, I'm there. We are now trying to figure out how we can do it. So you can contact me on WhatsApp or even
Yeah, give your WhatsApp
telephone.
number today.
My number is 055 066 1820. 055 066 1820. When you contact me, I'm going to tell you how the whole thing is about. It's a long-term project, but we have to start small so that we can get there. We can start together, and I can help you understand my vision in the agribusiness so that we can all win after graduation.
Right.
Thank
So you do political science.
Yes, I do political science.
Eventually, you are coming off as a politician.
Well, actually, we are all politicians. So
We are all politicians?
Yes, we are all politicians as humans.
I see.
Yes.
But we don't make political decisions in government.
Yeah, that is also another dynamic. Since we all make decisions, politics is about making decisions. Since we find ourselves in human society, some people may want something, others might not want. So how we agree on what to do is what we call politics. But when people go beyond that to use it for their personal gain, that is what makes it not to look nice. So some people try to call it politics.
I see.
Yeah.
So what are we discussing today?
All right. So today we are going to discuss about the Civic Education Club and what we are doing in the University of Education, Winneba. And then I'll use this opportunity to introduce to young entrepreneurs, especially students who are yet to graduate or those who are still in school, that there are several opportunities in the agribusiness where they can take advantage so that they don't stay home waiting on government or begging people for employment. They can start something small and it will benefit them.
Okay, so let's begin with the Civic Education Club.
All right.
What is it about?
All right. So as the word goes, civic education means creating awareness about people's responsibilities to the state within which they belong, and also what in return they are supposed to get from the nation. So as people, we have so many things we do in terms of tax paying, obeying the laws, and other functions that we play in the development of our state. So in return, those in power are supposed to give us good governance and also provide our needs per the constitution of the country. So basically, that is the awareness we create.
So you go out and meet communities and people to discuss these things, or you only do it in the university?
No. We go out to do it. So last year, for instance, it was, let me use this opportunity to thank the Municipal Director for National Commission for Civic Education, Mr. Bosun Senanu. He is the director at Winneba, that's a Futu municipality.
Okay.
And then our past president, Mr. Franklin Afo. He has been very instrumental when it comes to the civic outreach. So what we do is that we visit institutions, educational institutions like the basic schools and the junior high schools and secondary schools around the environment. So we educate them on their civic rights and responsibilities. We also engage the people in the communities. So even coming days, we are planning on visiting other places like the prison and other institutions where we think our services will be needed.
We don't see much of groups like this until there is an election. Then we see all of you guys showing your heads. What happens to you in between when the elections are done and when the elections are reorganized?
Okay, so yeah, that was the perception, but our operations, because of resources, we are students and we gather our own resources to do this thing.
You are not funded by the state?
No, not at all. Per constitution, they are supposed to give us some form of support, but maybe it will come. We are not started receiving it yet, but then we gather our own resources.
But are you recognized by the country?
Yes, we are. The constitution mandated the National Commission for Civic Education to establish the clubs in the educational institutions, especially the basic schools, so that they can instill in them these principles of good governance, responsibilities, rights, and others. So it is in the 1992 constitution.
I see. So currently, which project are you guys pushing? Which civic education topic are you guys handling right now? Is it on sanity? Is it what is it about?
Yes, previously we've been taking topics based on the atmosphere. So since we entered into the election year, we began advocating for peaceful elections and all that. So now that we are done with elections, we recently started with campaigning for peace after election, because we had some places people were still having challenges, conflicts and all that. So we start educating the masses on how to maintain calmness and obey the laws whilst we transition power peacefully. So after that, we will go on to look at good governance, how the leaders can be responsible to the citizens who gave them the mandate they are having, and also in return, we are also supposed to obey the laws and help them in our own ways to make the governance a better one.
Do you think your efforts are yielding results at this point? For how long have you held this position?
Oh, actually, it's just this year.
Okay, you were
I was sworn in
elected this year.
This year, yeah, late this year, somewhere November.
Do you think the efforts you are putting in is yielding results? When you go to the communities, do people come out and interact? Is it easy for you to meet groups?
Our work is not that easy to do, because sometimes, because the people don't know you,
right,
and all that, but still it's making impact, because even before my predecessor Franklin leaves office, there were challenges even within our university fraternity. People didn't recognize us well, so his activities, that time I was the organizing secretary for the club, so we initiated certain programs, and that yielded a good result. We've raised our membership status, and currently we are doing well.
What is the number now?
Currently
in your University
yes,
of Education,
yes,
Winneba,
we operate within the municipality because of the so currently we have a registered members over 2,000
oh,
population.
That's good.
We have people who are on our WhatsApp platforms,
right,
and we are now working on our TikTok account, and we are trying to get all the social media handles so that we can reach out to other people outside our university fraternity.
I see. So apart from your university, do you have similar things happening in other universities?
Recently, I met some executives from other institutions at the Kofi Annan International Conference Center, where I try to let them also have same institutions. It is not my duty to do that, but since we are all students and we wish people understand the constitution and all that, I am trying to encourage most of them to also have the institution, so that we can work collaboratively to make sure mass of our students are embraced with their constitution, so that they can also contribute their quota to the development of the state.
Okay, so as it stands now, it's only in the University of Education in Winneba.
Yes, please.
This is the only place you can find it.
Yes, please.
I see. And how long or how many years has it been?
Actually,
in the university.
In the university,
since it was established.
Yeah, it has been there over 5 years now. Yes, over 5 years. And mind you, these clubs are in other schools, especially the basic schools.
Okay.
But because of the management of the clubs is the issue. We have them, other people, we met them in the university. They tell us, oh, I used to be a member back in SHS or primary, but the whole thing is when you move from there is nowhere to go. You don't meet people like that to continue the outreach and all that. So we are encouraging people to...
What made you interested in being a member and an executive of this group?
I'm a person who likes good leadership.
Okay.
And in as much
you like good leadership.
Yes. And
do you think Ghana has good leadership?
Not yet.
In the last 20 years, do you think Ghana has had good leadership?
Ghana had Nkrumah as a very good leader.
That was over 60 years ago.
60 years ago. But in the past 20 years, if I say we don't have good leaders, I might be lying, because they are all doing well in some areas, and their ignorance about other areas is what makes us feel that they are not doing well. So when we have a sanity in our political system, we'll be able to do better.
I see. So your interest is based on the fact that you enjoy getting people to know how to conduct themselves in society, so that the government can also do its part.
That's right.
So when the people are doing their part and the government doesn't do its part, what happens?
Actually, one thing I believe in is that the whole thing is a system, and they are interdependent. The leaders depends on us, we depend on them, but our number outweighs their number. So when we, the masses, decide to take action, I think the government will do what is right, in a sense that, let's say, majority of Ghanaians, this just ended election,
right?
Ghanaians have decided their fate, and the figure tells that Ghanaians didn't like certain things, and especially in the Volta region, where the people felt that the president disrespected their leaders. And so when you are a leader, or when the leaders don't respect the people, they take time to understand why certain leaders behave certain way. But once they get to know that the leader just want to take advantage in return. So we as democratic states, I believe when majority of citizens understands what they are supposed to do to help the government, and in return what they are supposed to get, they will make sure they bring in good leaders.
I see. Let's look at the city, the capital city, Accra. Very filthy.
Yes.
Have you guys done anything like this in Winneba? Is Winneba doing well, better than Accra in terms of the filth?
Oh, far better.
Far better.
In terms of
the sanity of the place.
Sanity of the environment, Winneba is far better. Somebody
So
might.
what is people in Winneba doing better than Accra?
Yes, people in Winneba, in terms of the community upkeeping, in terms of cleaning the environment, they are doing well. So this, basically, what I noticed is that somebody might think is the population.
Right.
It's not the population. We have a lot of people in Accra. The same way, Winneba is small, but we have a lot of people, especially students. But one thing that goes on there is that people hold people responsible.
Okay.
That's when you do something, because majority of the populace there are students. So sometimes you even feel bad because you be like, somebody is looking at me. So when I do this, somebody might say something. So it makes sure that people don't misbehave. So in the same vein, when we have the citizens, people within Accra educated, and they understand the whole system that this place is supposed to be clean. When somebody puts something and somebody is there to tell the person don't do that, it will encourage people to avoid making the place look what it is today.
I see. So you think it is possible that with good leadership, Accra can be a clean city?
In fact, it can be much better. A very clean city.
Would you want to one day be in charge of keeping Accra clean?
If I have the opportunity, I can.
What would you do different? Our rivers, no, not even the rivers. Our gutters are choked. Our gutters are opened. Plastic bags all over the place. You know, when it rains, the drainage systems are messed up. Traffic jams here and there. People build on places they are not supposed to build and all of that. What should they be doing, which they aren't doing?
It is the people in charge that are not doing what they are supposed to do. Sometimes it's not everything that the government have to take responsibility. It has to give that responsibility to the people to also take charge. For instance, those days when I was in the village, there were these people we call town cans.
Yes.
These people, anytime we know they will come around, the whole town is neat.
Right.
Why? Because the people knew that when we don't keep the place neat and they come, they will.
There is a fine.
There is a fine. So because of that, people make sure their environment is clean. So even the gutters along the road, there were Zoom Lion working those days in our villages. I'm from Rara. There are people there, but sometimes the people who sell along, they themselves sweep inside the gutters, making sure it's neat, because when they are selling food and the place is filthy, the man will come and then find them. So we have similar places in Accra. If you are selling food here, you can clean the place. So when they begin tasking people to perform such duties, it will keep every environment clean, because you've given them the responsibility. Once you don't give them the responsibility, they say, oh, well, this baller is for Zoom Lion. They'll come and do it. So you go to a marketplace, a station, and you see the field there. But when you give the people that responsibility, they will do it. And then what to add is that now I can sweep here and gather, but where should I keep it? Because they are taking money.
Right.
So if the government will tax the people to do the cleaning and make sure they have a place, or people who come for it regularly, the people will make sure the place is clean.
What makes you think the people in leadership right now don't have all these solutions at hand? Why wouldn't they do exactly what you are saying? What stops them?
You can't point out a specific reason, but there are several, which I'll mention few. One is our leaders are afraid to take bold decisions because of elections. And then the people too, sometimes the leaders in a way think that when they want to enforce certain laws, it will affect the people and make them feel uncomfortable. But it's very good to do that, because when you don't do that, it will get to a point where you cannot control your people. So instead of looking at elections, once you do the right thing, at the end of the day, the people will recognize it when it have impact in their life. So, for instance, Accra being filthy, if you are able to force people to clean their environment, in the next 5, 3, 4 years, they've seen that, oh, at least this person has done this. Because of your leadership, we are able to do this and that. They'll vote you in. It doesn't matter how strict you've been on them. We had a lot of leaders who were even military leaders who are hailed by their people. Currently, when you look at our sister country, their leader is a military man, but because he's doing the right thing, what is benefiting and impacting the people are benefiting. So they still want him to be their leader.
All right. So politicians are unable to do the right thing because they fear they are going to lose votes.
Elections.
Man, you said it all. Anyway, so let's move to the agribusiness part of it. The agribusiness.
Yes.
But before we do that, next year, your club, what are your plans for Winneba next year?
Yes. So our plans for Winneba next year, we have 2 outreaches we are supposed to do within the Winneba or Efutu municipal. We want to engage the people more on their civil rights and responsibilities.
Okay.
Because we have to be echoing it from time to time, and within that we'll have sanitation topics to talk about. We'll talk about leadership, we'll talk about their duties as citizens, and we'll talk about how they can manage their own lives in order to be okay. And we are going to educate them on certain entrepreneurship skills, and we'll train some young men in phone repairs and the selling of the accessories of phone, because it's one of the industries that is doing well these days.
All of that is happening next year.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much for making time to come.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for being with us. We'll come your way again with another one.
Sure.
Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave a comment to help us grow.